Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tabitha and today we are going to talk about dynamic of resource allocation. Dynamic of resource allocation is a topic of economics, and we want to involve this economic topic so for the better understanding of financial market. So there are factors that affect the market that are outside the financial framework. So things like the overall economy of the country, pandemic, wars, and all those things. And those are the things that are considered external factor when it comes to economics, right? So today we are going to talk about dynamic of resource allocation, and the example in this video actually apply to my country, South Sudan. Yeah. So let's look at, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe for more videos and I will appreciate your business. So let's look at what is the dynamic of resource allocation. The process of it is the process of distributing and redistributing resources in real time based on current needs, priorities, and ensuring the optimal utilization and efficiency. So do we really have that one in my country? Are we really distributing anything or reallocating anything if we feel like the resources were not well utilized? Do we have that one in my country, or we just have resources and it's for a particular group and nothing else? That's it. So if you have resources, you need to take care of the priorities first, and then other things will come later. So in my country, things that we can take care of are healthcare, education, transportation, employment for the youth, and then security, right? Because if you're allocating resources towards security, and then everyone will be assured that the safety is the priority, and then once there is safety, you can do anything, right? Even the citizen can also build the country without much resources being injected into this economy. But the security is not there, so no one is comfortable doing business there. You would rather choose being in different country. So is my country distributing resources properly or not? Are we suffering from the dynamic of resource allocation? What are the challenges and why? Let's look. So challenges in promoting policies that help resource allocation. So what really make it hard for you to do these resources? It is because of so many factors. Maybe economic system? No. Political system, right? If the political system is not willing enough to let the market take their part and then make the distribution of resources properly, and then it is going to be challenging for you to distribute the resources, right? Or redistribute the resources and take care of the need that need to be taken care of. So uneven allocation of resources lead to more developed countries and less developed countries. My country is in the less developed countries, and the more developed countries have different characteristics than the less developed countries. And the reason is the less developed countries has more challenges distributing their resources, even if most of them have more resources than the developed countries. So they have that dynamic. They don't really distribute the resources properly, right? So let's see the characteristic of these countries. So more developed countries are characterized to have high income, to be considered high income countries. And then there is also a metric that is used to measure if they have good health care and high life expectancy. So all this come when you distribute resources properly. So you put resources toward creating more employment, so you can be able to measure the country GDP using income, like how well off many citizens are, and how much do they earn, do they have income, all those things. So good health care also, when the country allocate resources toward building better health, better hospitals, better education system that educate people to become doctors and all those things. So if you get all good stuff, you have good security, you have good health care, you're earning income, so the probability of you living longer is very high. So you have high life income countries or less developed countries, they have low income. So most of the time people don't even have job, leave alone having high income. So sometimes that healthcare systems where people die out of small illness, and because there is not that system that is built to take care of people when they are sick. There is no really proper education program that help you develop more doctors and how to manage them, how to pay them, all those things. So because you got bad health, you have low life expectancy, and because also your country is not distributing resources toward security, right? So there are ethnic wars. So when you have ethnic war, the probability of you dying is very high. So you can die maybe when you're 27, you're 30 years, you're a child, you're a teenager, whatever. So it's very high, which is very sad, right? So what do? So all this bad thing, right, in the less developed countries is as a result of less the dynamic of resource allocation, not having proper system that distribute resources to the needed area or the priorities that we need to take care of first. And because of that, it just gives us all this bad thing: low income, bad health, low life expectancy, people killing each other. We have high educated people who have no job. So all of those things. So how do we solve this problem, right? So how? So sometimes it's very complicated, and some countries don't even really have a solution. Maybe if the political situation change, and then they might have a proper way of distributing resources and continue to develop the country. Like for example in Kenya, so when the political system changed at some point, so there was a better government that came up with a system that distribute resources properly. I also became a beneficiary to that system, where they say education, primary school education and part of high school education is going to be free. So what that helped, the results of that resource allocation, it helped educate more students, and then produce more students that end up maybe being more doctors, being business people, being all this and that. So political system play a big role when it comes to resource allocation. So let's go ahead. So how to improve dynamic resource allocation? The challenges, though, the dynamic is the distribution. The difference, why other countries are more developed and less developed countries, is the challenge that is not same. Other countries face it rough to distribute their resources, others have it easy and they live the life that economic policies play a role in ensuring that there is a proper distribution of resources. But if you have bad political system, that is not going to work, right? Because these economic policy makers will be going against people who want to steal money, people who want to use money for their own benefit, right? So it will not work. So it has to wait for the political system to change, right? If the political system change and the right government want to work for the people, and then the economic policies can go ahead and do the work. Allocate large shares of your resources to improve capital stocks. So this one also help if you want to improve your economic growth of that country, as China was allocating more of their resources toward capital stocks, and then that helped every other area to develop too. Other countries invest in education, like Kenya was investing in education, so they make sure the primary school education and half of high school education was free for students, right? Fostering institution and property rights. In countries that are less developed with bad political system, they lack the institution and property right management. And because of that, resources that are for the countries are used by an individual, and the individual use them to do their own things. So what give birth to that is that there will be a presence of warlords, there will be a presence of dictators, and then there will be a communist government, right? Let's say the system that depend on tax, right? Tax. So there is no way the government will exclude people, because they know the resources that government use to develop anything or pay themselves come from the people. But if the country have resources and then they don't care, they just go and sell the thing and then take it and use it for their own things and go and that's it. So this is the end of the video, and I hope you learned something from the resource allocation. You can actually apply this one too in your own personal finance. So how do you really allocate your resources? Your resources can be business income, it can be like your employment income. So if you get your employment income and you just spend it, will you think like you will live the life that you want? Will you have money that you put aside that you can use for your health? Do you have, will your income grow, or will you just be living paycheck to paycheck will you have high expectancy life? maybe not. So if you don't have money and maybe you're stressed all the time and all this thing, that might reduce your life expectancy, right? So it also apply when it comes to personal finance too. So this is the end of the video, and if you like this video, please subscribe for more video, and I will appreciate your business. Thank you, and see you next time.